So let's honestly talk about Assetto Corsa EVO and some really, I think, significant and deep things that, as far as I'm aware, nobody else is really talking about, because I think Assetto Corsa EVO by the end of the year will be a massive competitor to Gran Turismo 7, like a massive competitor. It's really clear to me. I've just come off a long stream exploring the game some more, and like, as clear it is going to be a big competitor to GT7. I think it's going to shape the next Gran Turismo game. I think it's going to shape massively whether Gran Turismo comes to PC, because essentially Assetto Corsa is really going after Gran Turismo's lunch, and that's just with where the game is at the moment. We might see it going after Forza Horizon's launch as well on Xbox when the free roam comes out. But what we have at the moment, it is definitely a Gran Turismo 7 killer potentially. And I want to explain that, and I also want to explain something really disappointing about it. So fundamentally, the handling in Assetto Corsa EVO is a lot more simulation based than Gran Turismo 7, at least in the information we're getting through the wheel and through the game. Gran Turismo 7, I think, actually simulates a lot more than it kind of feeds back to us. Like, it doesn't even show us tire temperatures, even though they affect, you know, how fast you can drive the car. When the game came out, something I was really massively against, and I made controversial videos on it, I didn't like how the wind direction was dynamic, but it didn't let us know which was the best wind direction, so casual players were just massively up against it, because esports players can spend a lot of time resetting until they got the perfect direction. Again, it just didn't let us know that, but it was simulating it. Assetto Corsa EVO, what it's simulating and what it's showing us, like the TC kicking in, the ABS, how it simulates the loss of traction. You know, I've been lucky enough to race racing cars in real life, and I have moments where I'm losing control, I need to counter steer, and it's scary how realistic it is in Assetto Corsa EVO. And when you combine that with the license testing, so if you're playing EVO and you don't see this isn't because I'm sponsored. I'm not sponsored. It's not because I'm shilling the game. I'm not being paid. It's just because you can opt into a beta branch on Steam. And I think that's a bit concerning, by the way, because I did warn before this game came out that actually we're going to be beta testers, and it's literally come true. Like, we are literally beta testing this game. And I think that has a big downside, because this is the license test system at the moment. Like, this is what you see is it. Like, and I'll explain what the problem is. When you go into drive, you know, it's not too bad, except you can't see in the top left actually what your current lap or your previous lap record is, what tier you've reached already, what tier you're trying to go for. It's also a bit glitchy in terms of, like, you can't rev up the car before the lights go. In fact, it doesn't register any input before the lights go. Then when the lights go, there isn't a green light, it's just the lights go. Small things like that. But fundamentally, when you get driving, the handling is absolutely supreme. You can see the traction control. It's really easy to map the traction control and map the ABS as well, change the brake bias. The car, when you brake, is sort of moving around. You really feel the weight transfer with the way that the camera moves. Like, it's really quite glorious. Like, and Brands Hatch, the license tests, are really fun for doing that, going around Druids and feeling the car nicely pivot, getting on the throttle and feeling the wheels straighten up is very similar to what you have in a real car. Yes, there's issues with, like, how the throttle works, and there's people more technical that can go into that, but I can tell you, as someone who's raced cars on tracks like this, it's a very scarily authentic simulation. However, the gaming aspect of it is so poor. Like, if I show you again, if I go into one of these license tests, that, by the way, is also stripped back, because when you go into Gran Turismo license test, you are globe-trotting in your D, C, B, A plus S rank license test. You're going all around the world in a absolutely amazing collection of cars. Because they're launching here without the content, it's a very much more boring structure. Like, it's just like, this is actually the circuit experience in Gran Turismo 7. In fact, leave a globe emoji in the comments if you really believe that. This is circuit experience. It's not even licenses. I mean, have a look here. There is no information here as to what time I've done previously, how to actually drive this section, a map of the section, kind of where it sits in the tiers before I'm going to complete this kind of like track, what the prize money potentially is on offer is, like a leaderboard, a ghost to select. Like, everything here that you would expect from a polished game is missing, and I don't think anyone can really dispute that. So what does that mean? It means that me, as someone who's paid £30 to buy the game, and now opting into this beta to actually access the content that I paid for and was basically promised. Like, I was basically promised the Driving Academy licenses at launch, as well as supporting VR, which, to be fair, on my 49 VR is not too bad. But the Driving Academy licenses were not there, and to do that, I'm in a beta environment that is not. This is a demo. This is basically QAing it. This is not a game. This is not, you know, whether you call it a sim or a game or a simcade, or it's definitely simulation. It's on Steam, like, as a game to buy. There is nothing gamified here. It's just essentially like completely stripped down, and that means that my experience and anyone's experience who's also bought this game for $30 is a really, I think, poor experience with everything other than the car. Like, I can go around in the practice mode and drive the cars I enjoy around these tracks and essentially have the same experience. So this license test is way more inferior than it's going to be when it's finally polished. And I think that's going to rub a lot of people off the wrong way, because actually the smart move to do with EVO may be those people who are saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait till the summer. I'm going to wait till the summer till this game is like actually polished on the licenses, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to have a really good experience for the first time. So I almost feel like my experience of EVO is being a little bit ruined by it being so rough and clearly explicitly now a beta. And I didn't pay for a beta, and this reminds me of Test Drive Unlimited, where I paid $100 for the gold edition, partly to have access to a beta in which I gave feedback, and then those issues were still present in the real game. So it's kind of a bit of a mind mesh here, but the game itself is just, the fundamental handling, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. The way that they've tailored this towards Gran Turismo circuit experience and that Gran Turismo feeling, I think, is a masterstroke. Obviously, when this game was announced, there were no GT3 cars in the initial roster. People were like, this is not a sequel to ACC. But I think they've gone so much deeper than this in terms of car culture. There is now customization as well. I'll show you, because this is in the limited beta right now. It's going to go away, so you have the customization. It is in a way limited. You can change the interior and stuff like that. As you can see, you can change the wheels and the wheel colors, and you can do it all very, very, very quickly. And you can choose the manufacturer colors. You can choose some interesting stuff with the paint. By the way, if you want to make it kind of chrome, you can do that. If you want to make it matte, you can do that. If you want to make it metallic, you can do that. If you want to make it like also whatever you would define that as, saturated, you can do it like that as well. So you can get some very interesting colors straight away. So I like what they're doing with the customization. Ironically, I think this is going to be much better for the Test Drive Unlimited part of the game, to put it like that. The other thing I want to say is I recently went to the Sim Formula Europe, which is basically a sim racing exhibition in the Netherlands with a lot of big companies there. And it was conspicuous how Assetto Corsa EVO was not present on any rig. And I just wonder whether that's something, I don't know why that's the case. It's the biggest game in the world, and I went to an expo the weekend after to basically play it on lots of different equipment, and it wasn't there. I don't know if anyone in the comments can let me know why you'd have a massive expo the week after EVO launches and it's not on any rigs. Anyway, those are some honest thoughts. I think this game is going to be absolutely huge. If you haven't bought it right now, don't regret it. If you have bought it right now, we have to understand that we're basically beta testers and the game is only going to get better. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.